students, I hope you're fine. This is Miss Aruj. I'm your English teacher, and today we are going to start our poem, unit number 2, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. So students, this poem is written by Robert Lee Frost. He was born in San Francisco. He was a poet, teacher, and also a farmer. He won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for his poetry. The poem is about a man. You can call him a narrator or a speaker, because he is telling the poem. He is going on a journey with his horse, and there among the woods he stops there to experience the snow falling through the woods, through the trees, and it was that beauty which stunned him, which captured his attention. So what happens over there? Why does he stop over there? And what does he feel? Why doesn't he go back to the place where he was going at the initial stage? What was his destination? These are all the questions we have in our mind, and we are going to explore those questions in the poem. So let's start. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and the frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bell a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Okay, let's try to read and understand the poem in a better way. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. So the speaker is on the way. He goes to the woods and he stops over there. Why does he stop over there? He stops over there because he's so enraptured by the beauty he sees, because the snow is falling through the trees and plants, and that makes him makes him stay there for so long. There is something inside his heart which is stirring, which is making him which is forcing him to stay there, to explore the nature more. He says, whose woods these are, I think I know. Whose woods these are, I don't know, and I think maybe I know. His house is in the village, though. The person with whom these woods belong to, his house is in the woods, but maybe it is too cold over there. Maybe the owner of those woods are not at home, and maybe he's at home. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. He says that there is so cold that he might not come out of his house to see who is watching his woods, who is seeing the beauty and experiencing the scenario by staying for so long in his woods. Second stanza. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. My little horse. Now he uses the word my little horse. Why does he use little? Little may refers to deer. Maybe the horse is his deer and he loves his horse. Queer, it is strange, something which you don't understand and something you think it's weird. To stop without a farmhouse near. So basically his horse is confused, he's perplexed, he thinks that why my honor, why the speaker has stopped among the woods, and why, because we don't have a farmhouse near, so where we are going to. He's perplexed. He doesn't know that he is enraptured by the beauty of nature. All the horse thinks is this question that why we are stopping here. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. So basically in these 2 lines the author says that he uses the word frozen. Frozen means the weather is so cold that the water of the lake is frozen, the water is not moving. Darkest evening of the year, he says that it is the darkest evening of the years. Maybe he's referring to the solstice we have in December, on 21st of December and 22nd of December. So next stanza. He gives his harness bell a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So basically in the 2 first lines he still talks about his horse, his horse is anxious, he is fearful that why his owners has stopped among the woods. He shakes his harness. Harness is a leather in which the bell which is hung around the horse is hangs. So basically he shakes the bell just to make his owner understand that there is fear, there might be some danger, we should not be staying over here, we should just move to our destination, there is no point of staying here anymore. Of easy wind and downy flake, he talks about now Robert Frost has used sound imagery over here. He says that there are only few sounds over there because there is so much silence in the words. He says the sound of wind and the sound of snow falling. They're falling from above the sky in downy flakes, in tiny pieces of snow. So the last paragraph, the woods are lovely, dark and deep. Here in the first line he has used 3 adjectives to explain how he found the woods. Lovely. Why does he use the word lovely? He uses the word lovely because it is in human nature. If we talk about generally what we humans are, just a part of the poem, it is in human nature to regard the beauty. We as a humans always love beauty. That's why in the vacations we always move to northern areas to to be surrounded by the beauty about the around the lakes and mountains. Dark. So why does he uses the word dark for the words? He uses the word dark because we can take 2 meanings from this. Dark is, first, it is maybe the darkest evening of the year, as he says in the second last paragraph, and maybe he is talking about the curiosity. It is also in human nature, you should understand, students, that we are always fall for the unknown. We are always curious about something which we do not know, something which is hidden. Man is always looking for the unknown, something which is not in front of his eyes, right, but he can only feel. He tries to understand, just like God. We cannot see God, we can only feel him. See, whenever we are in a problem, we face any issue, we just try to see him everywhere above the skies or in any human form, right? So this is basically, he uses the word dark for woods because he wants to see something in the woods. They are just plants, they are just woods, and the snow is falling, but what he thinks of the woods are, maybe the woods are teaching something, right? And deep. Why woods are deep? They are trees, right? Why they are deep? And maybe it refers to deep as because Mother Nature has always something to teach us. What those plants and mountains and lakes and birds and other things teach us. What do they teach us? They teach us patience. Always the leaves of the trees always fall in the autumn. Why do they always fall in the autumn? Just because it has secrets to tell us. The Mother Nature teaches us that you have to be patient. There is a time for everything. You cannot rush things. You cannot ask someone or ask yourself that you want something and you want it at this moment. You cannot do that because there is a time prescribed for everything. So Robert Lee Frost has very wisely put these 3 adjectives for the woods. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. But I have promises to keep. He says, I have promises to keep. And when he moves to the second line, he says promises to keep. What does he mean by promises? And the first line he says, okay, I love the words and they are lovely, dark and deep. But his second line, what he is thinking about promises, maybe he refers to promises as responsibilities, because we understand that we love nature and we should be surrounded by nature, but we cannot spend our lifetime. We have some work to do which God has ordered us to do. We have some responsibilities to fulfill outside of the woods. So he says that I can remain in the woods for some time because I'm so enraptured, I'm feeling so peaceful and calm over here, but outside of the woods I have some responsibilities regarding life and I have to fulfill those responsibilities. So this is what the poem is about, because it is the balance between what your inner wants, the human needs to get calm, to get solitude, to be surrounded by the nature, and also he understands that he has some responsibilities to fill and some work to do on this planet Earth. And these last lines have great value in the history of English literature. When you would Google it, you would find many references related to it. But I'm explaining here for your convenience. He says, and miles to go before I sleep. He says one time, okay, we understand he says one time and miles to go before I sleep. He means that I've yet to go to my destination where I was going at the initial stage before coming to these words. He says, I have miles to go, I have to go miles to take rest. What does he mean by rest? First he was talking about responsibilities and then he's talking about rest. What does he mean by that? Let's go to the second line, and miles to go before I sleep. So he uses these lines twice. You know, you should remember whenever I write or use, lines for twice, it means that he's stressing over these lines. He's trying to catch the reader's attention. He's trying to catch your attention. Okay, so he says repetition is an basically act of attraction towards the words plus responsibility outside the words. He says that miles to go before I sleep, I will stay here, I will enjoy the beauty, and it will change me. I know it will transfer me as a person. A lot of things will be changed inside me, but I have miles to go before I sleep. There are so responsibilities and work to fulfill that after those I will take rest. And maybe with rest he's referring to death, because it's also in human nature, because he has a secret wish of death. Okay, so we are going to learn words meanings. Okay, the first one is queer, that means strange, something that is maybe weird. Second, downy is fluffy is soft. Third one is flakes, tiny pieces of snow. Fourth one is sweep means to clean. Fifth is puzzled is confused, when you're anxious about something and when you don't know something, that is confused. Okay, so we are going to start our word sentences, but I would recommend that you should make your own sentences instead of copying these sentences. I have written those on the board just because for your convenience, but you are going to do the sentences on your own. Okay, so the first is line. Lines have been drawn on the grass for wrestling. Surface. The surface of the pond was as smooth as glass. Third one is water. Living things cannot live without water. Fourth one is sense. Good people always have a sense of responsibility. Fifth one is shape. He is in bad shape, but he is alive. Okay, students, so we have read the poem. I tried to explain everything which you should be knowing related to the poem. We also discussed deeper meanings that lies inside the poem, and we also talked about, words meanings and sentences. So focusing on short questions and long questions that are there inside your notes, you should be opening up and learn the short question answers, long question answers, and MCQs from your notes. Thank you.